Now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to come up with a price. Now, for simplicity's sake, let's say that you're charging 50,000 rupees for your advice and service, right? Now, let's just make it all fancy, make this all, in rupee format, right? Now, here's the thing. If 50,000 rupees seems like a lot of money and you're like, no, Rohan, that's too much, you can also charge 10,000 rupees. Point is, go work with clients, go take some money and then level up your skills and eventually keep raising your prices till the time you feel confident. It's not just like having, just raising your price just because you think so. You should actually be good at it. Now, let's say that this month your revenue goal is to make 1 lakh rupees. And again, we're going to make this fancy, and that's 1 lakh rupees, right? Now, if we want to make 1 lakh rupees, how many units of this 10,000 rupees we will have to sell? Well, it's pretty simple. This divided by this. So I need to sell 10 units of this 10,000 rupee product in order to achieve my goal that I've set for myself. Now, what I need to do is, if I need to sell 10 units on the phone, I need to go and make 10 offers to individuals, right? Now, honestly, if I'm selling something for 10,000 rupees, I'd just do like a live webinar or maybe a record webinar and just call a bunch of people and sell them. Usually, if you're selling above anything 30,000, then I would like focus on doing one-on-one calls, right? I personally always prefer one-on-one calls. That's just my preference. So totally up to you. Now, let's say if you need to sell 10 units, what I would highly recommend doing is making sufficient offers, right? Now, for most people, if you are doing one-on-one calls, you should expect around about a 20% conversion rate on average. Now, this is if you're good, right? Now, if you're average, you should expect 15%. And then if you're really bad, then you should like just expect 10% or less, right? If you are working with us, or if you have subscribed to this channel and you watch our sales video, you would be roundabout in this category. Now, if you're doing a live webinar, right, you should probably expect 5 to 10%. Again, it could be higher as well, a little bit, depending upon how good you are. But as soon as you go above the price point of like, let's say 30,000 bucks, it becomes like really tough. But again, that's just like, really all of this depends upon your skill. Now, in order to pull off a live webinar, you do really need like a lot of skills. For example, I recently hosted, not recently, but like few months back, hosted a live webinar for a 2 lakh rupee product. I converted like 10% of the people live on webinar, right? Now, keep in mind, I've been doing this for like 6-7 years. That's why like for most beginners, it might not be realistic, right? And also for most people starting out, I would highly recommend like pitching people on the phone, like one-on-one, as opposed to doing a webinar, because this allows you to work on your skills, much more effectively. So let's assume that we convert, 20% of them, right? So we need to do around about 50 calls in order to achieve our target of 1 lakh rupees, right? Now, also, let's do one cool thing, right? I'll just write over here monthly, and then let's just do daily. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take this number and let's just assume the 30 days in a month. Yeah. So this is what we need to do in order to achieve our targets. So basically, you just need to make like 2 offers a day, which means like you have to spend 2 hours a day, and you basically need to sell 0.33 units a day, which is like, it doesn't make sense, but basically 10 units in a month, right? And then you basically need to make 3,333 rupees a day in order to achieve your target of additional 1 lakh rupees, right? Now, what's the difference between offers and calls? Now, here's the thing, right? Just because you scheduled a call with somebody doesn't mean that they'll show up to the call and you'll necessarily make them an offer. What if let's say like a prospect books a call with you and they don't show up? Then you can't make them an offer, can you? So we must take that into account as well. The other thing that could happen is, let's say that they do show up, but let's say you find out 5 minutes later that they don't have the finances, or maybe they are just not the right fit for you. Then what? You don't make them an offer. So that is something that you must consider. So for us here at UAbility, I expect to make like an offer to 90% of the people. Now, the reason why we do that is because the quality of leads that I give to my team are really good. We like get highly qualified people. So this really depends upon your lead generation as well. So if you are giving your sales team or yourself like highly qualified leads, then this offer percentage should be around 90%. So I'll just write this: high quality leads. So if you're giving them, then the offer percentage should be 90%, right? On the other hand, if low quality or medium, basically like the standard, I would recommend at least have it at 70%. Otherwise you're just wasting your time as well as your sales team's time, right? So I'll just remove that and let's just make it into this, like how many offers. So technically approximately you just have to do two calls a day, right? Because we are just like taking it into whole. Now, out of the calls, right, how many applications do we need in order to achieve our target of these calls? The way I like to do this is I like to run like an ad, or you can just like run whatever you want. This could be any kind of marketing channel. Now, another example of a marketing channel could be like this YouTube video, like how I'm recording, right? Now, what you do is you basically send these people to a landing page where they can get to enter their name, email, and then from this landing page, what happens is they watch like a video and then they fill out, let's just call this a video, and then they basically fill out an application, and then basically, you know, you book a call with them. Apologies for my handwriting in case you're not able to understand it, but this is the best I can do. Right? So, and then you have offers, right? And then you have sales. So the way this is working is right now, we have discussed sales, which is units. We have discussed the offer. We have discussed the call. Right now we are at this like application stage. So this means, you know, people need to like apply before they actually get on a call with you, right? So this is very, very important. Now, not necessarily everybody who's going to like apply for a call with you would be qualified to work with you. Why? Because you'd probably like cancel a lot of applications. For example, for us, like we cancel and we don't talk to like 70% of the people. Like 70% of the people that apply for us, we just like cancel it. And I think this is pretty good, because if you really think about the top educational institutes in the country, like IIT, IIM, they get their reputation by disallowing people to actually join them, which kind of creates scarcity and demand, and also just gets like higher qualified people who are most likely to get success with the help of their program. It's not like the college is doing something unique and special. It's just that they are getting the most qualified people who the college believes that they can help the most. And similarly, we are doing the same. We don't want to waste anybody's time who doesn't have the mindset, money, or basically the skills required to actually get successful. For those people, these are the free YouTube videos, right? So anyway, we would expect that out of these calls, right, I would talk like roundabout, I would talk to like 30% of the people, right? Because some people might not show up, etc., etc. So these are the people that will apply. So I basically need around about 185 applications, because as I've said, the application percentage, this is like around 30%. This means 70% cancel, like we do that. Now for you, it might be different, right? So offer percentage, like for us, like it's 70 to 90%, right? Offer percentage. Then you got 15 to 20% conversion rate on the phone. So these are like some heuristics that you can actually follow. So that's what I do. Basically, I need 6 applications in a single day in order to achieve my target. Now, what I've noticed is depending upon the leads you get around 10 to 20% of the leads who, you know, watch your name and email over here and watch your video to actually apply, right? So in this particular case, right, so I've noticed like 10% of the people will apply. So I will be needing like 1851 leads in order to achieve this target, which honestly, if you're living in India, it's like really doable, because hamari janta bahut hai. Right? Like that is like the best way to put it. 20% of the people who click will enter their name / email. Over here, what I can do is just like 100 divided by 20. So this means I need like 9,259 clicks on my website or landing page in order to achieve my target, right? So I can then just like divide that. This means I need 309 clicks per day. Now, the average CPC really depends upon your market. Like, you know, for like, let's say B2C markets, like, you know, where you're selling fitness, dating, or like BizOp, the CPC is anywhere between like under 15 rupees For B2B, it's like more like 30 to 40 bucks. That's what I've noticed. So let's say you take like an average 15 rupees cost per click that the platforms give to you. So in that case, so what I can do is I can just like multiply this. So basically I would need to spend 4,630 a day, or basically 1.38 lakhs in order to achieve my goal of 1 lakh rupees. Now I get it, most of you might be like, Rohan, that's a loss, I don't want to do that. I'll get to it. That's like the point I'm trying to like elaborate or explain over here. However, this is what will be required, right? Now, how do you solve this constraint? Right now, this is like where a lot of people who are especially doing a coaching or a marketing business get stuck. Now, there are 3 different ways of how you can like fix this constraint, right? And how? So like, let's just like put profit/loss over here, right? So let's say this minus 38,000 bucks, right? So you're in loss right now. What do? Well, what you can do is you can consider option 1 would be you can raise the price. So let's say from 10,000 bucks, I start charging 20,000 rupees. Now I have a profit of 30,000 rupees that I'll be left with, which is great, And if I make this this is why I tell everyone, like, when you're doing like a one-on-one call kind of structure and selling high ticket, like at least charge 30,000, because if you charge 30,000, now you'll be left with like 53,000 in approximate profit. Okay. Because now you need to sell less number of people, just like 3. You have to do less work in order to achieve your target. Isn't that fantastic? And think about this. If you're able to charge 1 lakh rupees, that's something, awesome that you're doing. Like, just think about, you now get left with 86,000 rupees in profit. Isn't that wonderful? Right? So I've shown you like very simple math over here with like very low numbers, because I think like for most people, that's what will make sense, right? So that is like one way to fix this issue. Right now, you might be like, but Rohan, I don't know. I don't think I can like charge that much. Well, the other thing that you will have to then do is then you'll just have to like reduce this cost per click. So let's say you were able to get this cost per click, you were able to improve your marketing skills, you were able to get your ad skills to another level where you're now getting cost per click of just 5 rupees. Well, that is fantastic, because now you just ended up making 53,000 rupees in profit despite selling something for just 10,000 rupees, right? Unfortunately, doing this is a lot tougher than just like raising your prices. That's just what I believe. I've spent crores on ads. I know this for a fact. I've done various experimentations. That's why I know this, right? This is why a lot of low ticket course sellers struggle a lot. Now, this is like the drill, right? Just get that, less. Or let's say if you do it at 10 rupees per click, which is still, we are gonna get left with like 7,400 rupees in profit. Okay. Now there is one more thing, so I've talked about like 2 ways of how you can fix this issue. The first one was, of course, like you can raise the price. The second one was you can reduce the CPC. Now if you're like, Rohan, you know what, I just can't raise my prices, and then at the same time I'm just like, not able to like reduce my CPC. Well, then what you have to do is you have to do something called as what a lot of these gurus preach, which is called as you need to create an ascension pathway, right? So what is ascension? Well, ascension basically means that if somebody who buys this product or service, right, for 10,000 bucks, the best way you can make money is when they pay you the next time or pay you higher than what they have paid you. So what you need to do is, let's say ascension price is, let's say you have another product, right, which is for 20,000 bucks. So ascension percentage, right? Now for us specifically, like everybody who buys our front end, we convert like 30 to 50% of them to our back end, and our back end is very, very costly. Like, I don't think it's a cost, it's like an investment, honestly, because most people make their back in a month or 2, especially the people we select in our back end. But most people can't achieve that. So I won't even aim for that. What I would recommend is, let's just go for a conservative 20%, okay? Because this is realistic for most people. Now, let's say our ascension percentage is 20. So now we get basically 2 units that we could do for ascension. Now what happens is our new revenue becomes this into this, right? Additional ascension revenue, and then total revenue becomes this plus the 1 lakh that we earn. And now our profit basically becomes plus this 40,000 bucks, which is honestly like still not a lot because if you think about it, it's just like 1,000 bucks, right? So this is why, like, you know, what I like to do is I personally like, you know, this is great, by the way. You still like ended up becoming profitable from like a scenario where you were just selling something for 10 bucks and your cost per click was you know, higher than what you can afford. So these are the 3 ways that you can utilize in order to, like, you know, make more money.